Okay, if I can get everybody to pay attention, please. I don't know, whatever. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for indulging me. I haven't done this before. Bob, I volunteered to help out any way I ever could with Tec Social. Like maybe I could send out some emails, talk to some folks for him, do whatever else. And he said, "Great, how about you host it for me next week? You want to be on vacation?" So I'd already volunteered, so I guess here I am. So this week we're going to hear from some folks. The program they're putting together a porta case about trying to attract and retain some folks here to the area to address some of the issues we're having with regards to finding and keeping qualified people to work in the companies that we're all trying to build here. So with that, I'll turn it over.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jim. Good evening, everyone. Just want to start out by sharing a little bit about myself with everyone in the room. My name is Catherine McPherson. I am originally from Cape Breton Island. I came back a little bit over a year ago, and I've been away for a long, long time. Don't want to say how many years, but it's been a long time. My background is I've spent the last 17 years in human resources, and I've worked predominantly with Fortune 500 companies, helping them build successful people strategies. My background has been in financial services, consumer packaged goods, and pharmaceutical, but I've also worked with a lot of entrepreneurial organizations as well. Just to give you a little bit of flavor, I've probably done every job in human resources, as well as led every department in human resources. So I've got a little bit of experience there. I've worked with organizations that have had annual revenue of a couple of $100,000 a year, or annual, to an organization that actually made over $9 billion in a year. I've worked with an organization that has had as few as 3 employees. And I've worked with an organization that has had more than 25,000 employees. So I have a very broad spectrum. And it's that experience actually that brought ProtoCase, Doug and Steve and I together. Doug wanted to specifically talk to me about some of the recruitment challenges that he was having with attracting and retaining the talent that they need to grow their business from, say, a $10 million company to a $100 million company. So a mere 8 weeks ago, Doug and I sat down and we talked about recruitment. But as the conversation went on, we realized that there was a bigger issue at hand and something that we had to really have an honest conversation about and possibly talk about something to do about that situation. And that situation was the Cape Breton story, right? It's the Cape Breton context. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what we did is that first week, we met with Steve and Rankin McSween, and we talked to them about, what our thinking was and what we potentially could do about it. And they thought it was important and that we should do something about it. We further went to Bob Pelly and then David Alderson, and we had more conversations. And again, they thought it was important and something worth doing. So I met up with Bob, and Bob said, "Listen, we'll support you in any way that we can. How about you coming and doing Tec Social, February 5th? And I said, "Okay, let's do it." So here I am, and that's a story of a little bit about me and how we ended up here this evening. So we're going to cover off a couple of things in addition to that. We want to talk to you about a call to action. We're going to go through the internship program and how it differentiates. We're going to talk about where we are today in terms of the soft launch of ProtoCase and 45 Drives. We're going to play the movie, and that is not Shrek. That is actually a videotape that we're doing as part of the recruitment strategy. And we actually have an ask. So for anybody here tonight, we have a very specific ask. We'll get to that. And then we're going to open the floor to any questions that anybody may have regarding the program. Okay? Make sense? So a call to action. So when we started the conversation, we realized that, we had a serious challenge here in Cape Breton, and that is the out-migration of youth. So today we're going to speak about youth, specifically in terms of our target audience. This has a detrimental effect on how we grow our business in the future. So whether it be in the ProtoCase context, 45 Drives, or any business really in Cape Breton, if we want to go from 1 million to 5 million, from 5 million to 10 million, from 10 million to 100 million, right? We need to be able to have the talent available for us and to be able to retain that talent. So the more we talked, the more we realized that the bigger context was a mindset issue, right? In Cape Breton, do we have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, right? And our mindset drives our beliefs and our behaviors. So we identified the problem, and that problem is that the mindset in Cape Breton is not seen as being prosperous. Our youth believe that there's no future here for them, or they devalue the jobs that are actually available here. They think it won't give them the experience, the fulfillment, or the meaning that they want. So they're leaving. They are not aware of the entrepreneurial, innovative companies that are here and what that may hold for them in terms of their career. This isn't just a proto case or a 45 drives issue. This is a Cape Breton issue. We need to do something different to change this perception. Our youth need to know that there is a future in Cape Breton, and there are jobs here that offer them relevant meaning, and they don't need to compromise their careers to be here. In fact, they can enhance their careers. So what do we do? So let's have a look at the past, and let's have a look at the future. So, if I go the right way here, maybe. We know it doesn't work. So this is probably my favorite quote. You know, Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So I would say that probably in most organizations in Cape Breton, but also in the world, the way they go about actually finding talent is they have an opening, they post the role, people apply for the role, they choose who they're going to interview, they interview, and then they fill the role. So what if I was to tell you that there is evidence out there that says that basically whatever talent pool that you're trying to drive toward you, that the people that you get only represent 10% of that talent pool. So where's the other 90%? The other 90% are passive candidates, right? So when you think about, you're not, through that process of just post, look at the resumes, interview, choose. If that's not working for you today, with your current needs, how is that process and that approach going to work for you when you're trying to build your business, you know, twofold? So, in addition to that, the process issue, you have the Cape Breton context issue. And because you're operating in that, it's like rolling the rock up the hill, right? It's a push approach. So we need to do something that is a game changer. We need to think differently about how we're approaching the whole aspect of recruitment and retention. It starts with changing our mindset. So one of the things that we really try to do is we try to open up our minds and say, okay, how do we adopt an abundance mindset? This doesn't need to be a zero-sum game. Competition isn't in this room. Our competition is outside of Cape Breton. So we're all competing against each other and chasing after talent. And as somebody said to me earlier, doing this, right? But it's not going to work. We have to come together to change the Cape Breton story. So this probably, everybody knows what this is, right? Open source concept. Putting something out there, collaborating from a community perspective, and working it real time to get a better outcome, right? That's what we want to do. That's what we want to talk to you about tonight. We want to start thinking about changing our mindset of abundance. What if there was enough talent in Cape Breton? What if we were to share this internship program for all of the different businesses in the community, right? That could potentially be powerful. And remembering that talent attracts talent. Smart people like to be with smart people. And there's a lot of smart people in this room and out there. So you think about if all of these smart people got together and started going out and having conversations, the people in terms of attraction and retention, how much easier that could be, and what a powerful conversation if you went out as a Cape Breton community of businesses versus individual here, individual business there, individual business there. So if you are a private local company who creates innovative services or products, we'd like to speak to you regarding this community-based internship program. Committed to helping create 100 new jobs within our businesses over the next 5 years. Now that was a number that was like this, and about the possibility. And this doesn't even take into consideration the multiplier effect, which will help us reinvent the local economy, keep money local, make Cape Breton more prosperous, because keeping youth in Cape Breton and prosperity feed each other. I think, you know, prosperity is aligned to population growth. So if our population is actually decreasing, prosperity is decreasing. So how do we do this? How do we enable this thinking? We do it by offering a different type of internship program. So we've actually designed something different. We're trying to create a different experience through creation of an elite internship program that with the differentiator, one of the differentiators is that we look at all of our stakeholders as customers. So we really focus on what's important to them and what they need. So 3 stakeholders are really in this program. You have the stakeholder of the company, who needs to understand what kind of capabilities they need to have for their future. You know, do you need engineering? Do you need IT? Do you need marketing? Entrepreneurship? What is it that you need? So it's about having, you know, an honest conversation about what are those capabilities that you need. First part. The second is understanding who you want to partner with. And what that is where are you going to find pools of talent? And that's at university, colleges, affiliations, associations, social groups. So where those capabilities, where do you find them? And what you need to do for them. For example, if you were to talk to this group, especially like a university or college, what may be important to them from a value proposition perspective is they want to increase their applications. They want to drive traffic to some of their programs. So think about how positively interested they might be if you actually said to them, we're going to give you something different, and that potentially could drive more applicants to that program. And not only that, that program is actually going to help your students apply what they're learning. And we're going to help by setting up a formal internship program, and we're going to work as a partnership to manage that. And then, not only that, but you're going to have access to the local innovation entrepreneurial group of businesses that you can work together, maybe from a research or case study perspective. Think about that powerful, you know, messaging. And what about your target group? So for the purposes of this discussion, we've specifically focused on youth, and we've specifically focused on the millennial group, the millennials, right? Born after 1991. And what we've discovered is that through actually looking at demographics and then taking into consideration some best practices, we've kind of defined what's important for them based upon this demographic. So, for example, from a attraction perspective, millennials want to have meaningful work and more flexible hours. From a development perspective, they want to, you know, continue to grow, get more responsibility, and they also want to have mentorship. And from a retention perspective, they want to work with a manager that's respectful. They want to have open communication, and they really, really want to have ongoing feedback. So when you take all of those pieces and you roll it into a program, you've really focused on the 3 stakeholders. So what a very powerful message and value proposition that would be. So what does that give us? Through partnership, we access talent. So they're university, colleges, etc. From this access, we create pools. So engineering, IT, marketing, entrepreneurs, trades. Then we utilize the internship program as a pipeline to select the very best talent. And through the internship program, we offer meaningful work experiences for those with a mentee mindset. And this is very important. The more we talk about, how do we make sure that this is successful, is that we want to have people that are open to learning, that they're flexible in their learning styles, right? Very important. That they want to be mentored. There's nothing worse than, putting a mentee and a mentor together and one of them doesn't want to be there. So if you're going to offer mentorship, you want to make sure that the individuals in the program have a mentee mindset. Because at the internship program core lives the belief that as part of career development, formal mentoring matters. And by providing multiple work experience, a relevant learning experience is enhanced. And collaborating with other companies to offer work terms that exchange, and an exchange that provides external mentors, and this is key, leads to leadership learning experience. This is not an experience offered by a lot of internship programs. So you may have internship programs that one organization and you kind of flow through each department, and it's great, you get to see the systemic end-to-end processes of the business. And that's great. But this would really be different because we would be collaborating and exchanging talent and giving them different opportunities, different levels of experience throughout the process, and access to mentors from other organizations. Powerful value proposition for our youth, our companies, our partners, and our community. These differentiators built a sought-after program, which was really key to something that we wanted to build. So how do you make it operational? So our approach was to soft launch it at Protocase and 45 Drives. So how do you eat an elephant? This is big, it's audacious, right? It has complexities. You eat it one bite at a time. So you start small and you pilot. You keep it simple. You give it structure, systems, and toolkits. You manage it, and you let it evolve. You measure it for success, and you call out when it isn't working. You understand why it's not working. You fix it, you continually improve it, and if it's not about perfection, it's about progress, it's about sustainability. And always remember to keep it flexible. And remembering that success doesn't happen overnight. It took Seinfeld's Kramer 20 years. You believe it's possible here in beautiful Cape Breton. So next steps. We need to decide on mentors for the program, and we need to develop criteria. We have to roll out training for mentors and then mentees when they come on board. We have to set partnership meetings with identified universities, colleges, associations, affiliations, social groups. We need to prepare for the roadshow. And then we're going to play a video for you, and I'll give you a little bit more context here in the video, but I think you're going to think it's really cool. We're going to roll other businesses into the program, developing criteria. We're going to measure progress, and we're going to focus on continuously improving. So a little bit about the clip we're going to show you here. It's not a little clip, so just to set expectations, it's 4.5 minutes long. So as part of the roadshow that we're going to be doing as we're going through the partnerships, trying to build these partnerships to universities, etc. Protocase and 45 Drives, only a few people can actually go with them, right? So we wanted to try to create an experience where whoever was there got to see more about the culture at Protocase and 45 Drives, who the employees are, what the employees actually think, right? And just the sense of fun or not fun that may exist. So I'm going to play this, keeping in mind, as you're watching it, listen for the content, obviously, but also think about how big this could be, and imagine doing something like this, but on a community basis, okay? So I think what I need to do now is I have to do escape, and I have to minimize. Okay. Here we go. What I was at
teenager DC applying for jobs. My resume got sent to Protocase, and I got a phone call, asked him for an interview, and came in, absolutely fell in love with the place. They fell in love with me, obviously, and here I am.
We've got some new marketing people that are just brought into marketing people. So it's moving in that direction. We'll probably need another tech or two in the very near future to try to keep up with all the stuff we're trying to do and all the things we're trying to invent.
I'm a student at the local university doing electrical engineering technology, and I started working here probably 9 months ago, and I'm doing a project for 45 Drives, research and development.
Oh, yeah, this is gonna be the Apple campus, the Google campus in a couple of years. You wait. People are gonna be coming here to take pictures. Oh, this is where they do it.
I did a couple of work terms in the engineering department, but my final work term was in the tool room over at Tesla. So I ran the lathe and the milling machine. And then when I started working for Steve and Doug, I did machining for them as well.
It's just lots of fun. It's very innovative. There's nothing really holding you back. So we're here to learn.
Currently, I'm operating the water jet cutting offensive material. In the near future, I will become a production supervisor.
It's the core of Protocase. It's really the core of what we do HR-wise. Hire for potential and help people achieve it.
Somebody will be hired just to go do a basic job on the floor, and they'll find that they're very talented, and maybe, go train them. I think there was some new hires this week actually that don't have any like machining background, but we're going to take them and we're going to turn them into machine operators, right? So
Yeah, I think the last month we had maybe a dozen hires or something like that, so it's good.
Like I said, I think technology is moving fast here, a lot more than what some people realize. There's a lot of those startups, a lot of interesting things in programming and security devices, and really kind of 45 Drives in particular is kind of a setting the bar and kind of on the very cutting edge of what's going on in the storage server world. And nobody's really doing what we do and really kind of keep up. So at the moment,
we're not at all a hierarchical company. We're very level field in here in terms of levels of management. And, Doug and I both have a very much an open door policy. So anytime an employee, has an issue that they haven't been able to resolve through their supervisors or what have you, our door is always open. If you want to see our smiling faces, well, yeah, we're always there to have a conversation and talk things through.
it was the environment, the laid back, relaxed environment that Protocase offered. At the time, we weren't in this facility, we were on Kings Road, but it was a small group of people. There was about 30 of us. The idea of the company itself was pretty cool. It was something I wasn't familiar with, but really wanted to learn more about. And then when I got to see the group of people that we worked with in regards to customers, like MIT, Lincoln, different medical facilities, educational facilities, all these different industries that needed enclosures. And I was like, whoa, what's that? And really just had an interest for it and fell in love with it.
and what we can't afford is to cling on and try to manage every little detail in the business because you can't grow. So we take people, we hand them off responsibility, and it's just amazing. You give people responsibility, and just always amazed time after time how people rise to the occasion.
But yeah, we get them from everywhere, all over the world. Right now, actually, I'm the international account manager for European countries. So yeah.
Stay tolerant environment means you can come in, take on something new, and go there and do it. And if you make a mistake, we accept it. Why? I make mistakes. Steve makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. What we ask is that if you make a mistake, you learn from it, be open about it, and get better. It's the opportunity to live in a place that people pay to come to on vacation, and with all the things that it all has to offer. And and in that situation, people say, well, maybe you're going to give something up, in terms of career. And we say, no, there's no reason to compromise. This is the age of the internet. Okay? Distance has been leveled. FedEx takes our product around the world. So we're able to work for the very upper echelon of technology industries across North America and around the world, and be a leader in our field and do it from right here where we want to live and work.
So, thank you. So think about Steve and Don and Gavin. I don't know what's happening here. Out. Sorry. Can you see? Okay, it looks okay, it's just on my screen. Can you imagine being out there and actually, being on a road show and being able to show something like that to the potential recruits, right? Pretty powerful. So we have an ask. So our ask is very specific in two ways. So join us in this community internship program. It's really about a collaborative community branding opportunity that fundamentally can change our experience in accessing and retaining talent in Cape Breton. What we're asking for is initially one commitment, one internship commitment. That's all. One internship commitment. And if you want to know more, talk to Dr. Steve. Okay? So they're here this evening. Or if you know of anybody who would be interested.
Or talk to Kathy.
Or talk to me. Our ask of potential candidates is that if you're interested in any opportunities at ProtoCase and 45 Drives, send us your resume. Just in the subject line, just say Tec Social February 25th or February 5th, 2015. And I'll leave this up if you're interested. It's Kim K. Thistle at protocase.com and copy Dean Milberg at protocase.com.
Kim's more reliable and responsible than I am.
So now, just want to open up the floor to any questions that you may have.
Is there any length of time that
I think it's a great question. There's a lot that we don't know the answers to yet, and part of bringing other people in and other companies in is to have those types of discussions. So we don't want to limit the discussion. We want to think about, how do we make it happen rather than limiting it happening. Thank you.
The ask and pointing out, the ask other companies get involved in this, we can kind of try to do this on our own. But when you think about it, the outbound HR that moves out of the Maritimes, it's a maritime problem. It's not a Cape Breton problem, it's a maritime problem. The outflow of people from the Maritimes, I read something when I lived in Ontario that there was more people, Maritimers of maritime birth, living in Ontario than there were in the Maritimes. I did this massive outflow of people, and it's absolutely so large. And we look at that and we say, creating a mindset, one big thing for us is this marketing thing. We look at the upper echelon of university classes when we go talk to them. We like to get upper echelon engineering, computer science, whatever else, to think about a job here. And they're all looking elsewhere. They're looking to Alberta. It used to be Ontario, now it's Alberta. It's probably going to go back to Ontario for the next decade. And our take is that if other companies join in on this, and that this is a group of local companies, is just so much more powerful a message than just being us. So that's why that part of the ask is there. So, and the commitment, we talk about it, it's an informal commitment. It's not there's no hard commitment in this whatsoever.
Any other comments, questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I can see this working with associated companies that are into manufacturing or electronics or whatever. Okay, but how would you relate, go into the community with an internship involving ProtoCase and 45, okay, with some unrelated industry?
Some unrelated industry. I think that part of the qualifiers that we had discussed is that if you were innovative driven in terms of products or services, that would probably be our initial, right?
Yes.
That's not to say that this couldn't evolve into something. I mean, remember the whole point of it is to have an abundance mindset, to have an open source context, right? This is for the betterment of all, right? So we don't want to hold it in. We certainly don't want to hold it in, but we need to start.
I would say, there's probably not a company in this room that's find out innovation and what have you, that doesn't have a marketing requirement to it. So students that are going through business or marketing or whatever types of programs, I mean, wouldn't it be nice for them to come in and experience the marketing program behind a pro case, then going to Mercado Digital or going to Ondal Networks and see how those guys are doing and learn from those. All speaks to their career development.
Yeah.
We don't have to be in the same business at all, right? That doesn't have to be that at all. We're talking about an internship program that helps develop the skill set and the business talents of those folks that are coming in there. And at the end of the day, they're probably going to go work at one of those companies, right? And so do the other ones lose? Well, not really, because they're going to win one some other time. And everybody benefits. This community benefits by that collaborative approach. I think that's really where
We're aiming.
And I still, and just to add to that, the synergy, it's a marketing synergy, right? I mean, the whole issue of hiring, trying to get the right people. Hiring is so, all these people out there have skill sets that are incredibly diverse and you have jobs that have requirements that are incredibly diverse. And you got to come together somehow, right? And the first part of that is to get people's attention. And to get their attention, get them to send a resume in, it means marketing, right? They got to feel good about the company, but they got to feel good about the community, the whole move and the life move that it is. And the more we go there as a group and say, and I don't care, you could be doing a digital media project and you're looking for writers, and if you ask, for that is part of, it's not the pro case video, it's the group video. So, come on into the program and, top students in whatever writing program, come on in here, you got all these innovative companies and we're part of that. It's a much more powerful message, much better marketing than one company going, especially the smaller you are. We're getting a little larger, we got a little more momentum, it gets easier. But if it's a whole community, that message that goes out to people, that there is, positive economic life here and, we got lifestyle and career, set as a group, we think it's much more powerful. Diversity is not a problem. Don't see diversity being a problem.
It offers mobility, right? It offers mobility, right? So we don't want anything to close it off.
I just want to add in
Thank
both points here, both yours as well as Doug's earlier point. I'm actually one of the newest hires for the case. I just started Monday here. Just finished my master's in industrial engineering in Dalhousie. And working here is, you might say, it's completely unrelated to what I did before. I just finished working with Canadian Blood Services R&D department, which has very little or nothing really to do with industrial manufacturing or designing that. But there certainly are going to be overlapping skill sets. Maybe not everyone is suited to every business, but I think there's certainly opportunity for overlap there. And to Doug's earlier point, it really is about selling Cape Breton and life here as well. When my graduate supervisor first sort of mentioned the job in Sydney, I sort of scoffed at him. It wasn't really until Doug and Gavin came down and did the presentation, I came up and actually saw the facility that I really felt that interest and gave it serious consideration. I think developing that idea that, look, we do bring people out here for very innovative experiences and Cape Breton is the place to go is absolutely key to that.
Thank you.
I just have a couple of things I noticed from what you guys have done. I want to commend you on what you have done. The irony being, I'm a new come back to Cape Breton person myself. I came back a year ago, and Cape Breton, what you guys are doing is actually scratching the surface of what Cape Breton as a community has to do more of, and that's promote the lifestyle, promote the place, and promote the opportunities that you can offer to people's kids. And I've spoken to numerous people since coming back, whether they be doctors, lawyers. There's a lot of lawyers, social workers, and teachers in Cape Breton, I have to say, not a lot of anything else that I've noticed. But a doctor couple I met at the ski hill within months of being back told me they had moved from Sussex in the UK and would not change where they've come for anything. And I've heard stories from other doctors, from doctor students that can't get placements in Nova Scotia because they didn't go to school in Nova Scotia University. Cape Breton has, I think, a unique opportunity to do what you guys have done, but on a grander scale, and just like get the community involved, get whether it's government, whether it's community leaders, but we got to be careful too, though, because if we make it too we practice, everybody's gonna come in. It is lifestyle and quality of life. I think having been 25 years away from Cape Breton, I've never been so happy, so relaxed, and so to see my family so happy to be back to be in Cape Breton. This is like, it's worth its weight in gold. And it's a shame that we are faced with the economic prosperity that we are faced with. But since being here, there is an energy that I feel that, you know, there is a very bright horizon on Cape Breton Island, and it's thrilling to be back and to watch it happen.
It's nice to hear.
So congratulations to you guys, and I think it has to be expanded upon.
Ray J here.
Ray J is not.
So Ray J did our video. We should have had Ray J here and captured some
I can
comments. Hey, there you go. That's right.
Patrick would have done it.
Could you say that, let me say that again next week?
No, but I agree with you. We had just moved back, my husband and I, for the first time in 11 years, and we were in St. John's Newfoundland and then worked down in Florida for a bit. And it is positive here. It's more positive than we expected, and there's a lot more happening than we expected, and that's been a breath of fresh air. But the story isn't being told as good as it is here, in my opinion, what I've seen out there, and especially the Cape Bretoners who are dying to come back and who are just waiting for someone to call them up and say, hey, you know, you should really move home. It's great. Christmas time, we couldn't talk enough about it. And people are like, wow, you know, they're just not getting it when you're home for a week a year. You don't get it because you're cramming everything in. And so we moved home. We didn't move home with jobs, and fortunately, we're good, and we, you know, doors opened up for us. But it has to be told. It really does on a bigger scale. But this is a great start, and this is awesome for a work scale. I think it's so good.
Yeah. So I'm just going to add to that. When we first started the staking and started, you know, having very serious conversations about nearly 8 weeks ago, one of the things we talked about was adding on the expatriates, right, from the youth perspective. So that has been, that did come into our thinking, as well as, you know, instead of, you know, chasing people who don't want to be here because they want the big city, you know, we'll never be able to give them the big city. So what about the people that want to be here, right? So, yeah.
So Adam, Daniel's comments. I'm from Toronto. I have no family here. I've never been to Cape Breton before in my life. Came here for the UIT program, and I will have to say that the opportunities in Cape Breton have not been televised to the rest of the world, have not been shown to people in Canada or everywhere else. And in Toronto, this is the kind of stuff that people want. They're tired of being in Sprawlville. They want to be out here. They want to be able to see the stars at night, and they want to be somewhere where internet doesn't cost them an arm and a leg in order to do stuff. We live in the age of the internet now. That is our huge manufacturing source, and we have fiber up to our houses.
Yeah. We're all with you. A bunch of us are with UIT, and we met with we presented in front of 1NX last week, 2 weeks ago. And the biggest thing that they brought to our attention, the coalition, was that in Cape Breton right now is one of the fastest internet speeds in Canada. And a lot of people don't know it has the fastest bandwidth, and that it is one of the best places in Canada to start a business because we have low cost infrastructure, low housing costs, and fast internet in terms of tech businesses.
If you put up a billboard on the Don Valley and just said like, this is our internet speeds, downtown Toronto, guarantee you'll see at least 19 people out here immediately.
And then part B of the billboard is 5-minute commute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Really, really great comments and questions. Anything else?
Oh, just
Why
one.
does this work for the internship? Does the company, are they unpaid internships, or does the company pay? What's the deal?
We don't let anybody work in our company without pay. It's been a long-term policy that we've done. We don't do that. And again, there's no formality of the program. Look, ProtoCase would expect, you know, in this calendar year, we might see 5 positions, maybe we'll see 6, 7, something like that. We fund them in various ways. Some of them we go through the Canadian province. And others we just fund on our own. Some of them are part of our IRAP, like our National Research Council funding. Some of them are just straight up, you know, if it's operational, it's just company. Any others that come in and decide to hire people, they can come talk to Province, and we're actually wonderful people to deal with, and especially locally, they're awesome. And there's lots of ways to do it. So the point is to get people in here, hire them, and I do think, the paid versus unpaid, which has been a debate. I'm not a big believer in unpaid, and I don't think it takes too much work to find some money to pay people, whether they, get rich in their summer's work or whether it's modest.
Anything else?
And can I make the comment to the UIT people here? Plant your roots here and do some stuff. Great place here. The comment was a great place to do it. Totally, look, we're living experience. We started off, and Stephen was employee number 1 in Pro Case, right? So we're now at number 100 now. So, and operating environment, absolutely phenomenal operating environment. And if I could just say one thing in pitching that, this whole HR thing, we have a different issue in trying to recruit people than you do if you're in a clustered place, if you're in Silicon Valley, if you're in Toronto or wherever else. There's a larger pool of people. But when you hire them, there's somebody else saying, here's $5,000 more a year to come work for me, and people just move. The advantage we've had in being a relatively unique employer in our space is that we can do this thing that we talk about. Companies talk about this all the time, hiring for aptitude and training. But if you're in a clustered area, your neighbors love you because they hire for experience, right? And they're pulling them out, yeah, $2,000 more a year. Come on over. Somebody has a bad week there. Next thing you know, they have a job offer and they leave. That ability, and part of it's bad economy. The other part's cultural here, that people like their job stability better in this part of the world. And of all the advantages, if you are a company that UIT people would be, putting down here, it's all about your HR. And that's a unique advantage here. And, as I said, don't get too many people here. You overbuild the cluster, we'll have commuting times, and we'll have that problem. But it's a long, long way away. So it's a great thing. UIT people, plan here, and then when you're at the stage, please join up the program.
So it's about potential, the ability to learn, not necessarily the experience you bring. Right? Okay, so again, thank you, Bob, for having us. Thank you, Jim, for supporting us in his absence, and thank you all for coming up to hear about this today, and thank you for your contribution. It's really amazing.
Okay, that's the bulk of it for the evening. There is going to be, even though Bob isn't here, we do have prizes. So if your business card isn't in for the drawing, drop one in or fill out a little slip there so you can get in for it. And chance to do some networking now. So thanks everybody for coming.